All right, guys. Yes, starting with a sketch. So we see our house kind of really big, yeah, taking almost half, and here even more than half of a page, yeah, and almost till the top. So we can start kind of plan the roof. Yeah, so we'll leave a little bit space for the sky. Yeah, I can just maybe sketch the chimneys. Yeah, but first, of course, no details, just kind of trying to set it all. Like this, yes. And then after the first sketch of the house, let's go down and do we had space for the garden, the space. Yeah. So somewhere here will be the fence. And yes, one side of the road is with stones. Yeah, it's also interesting. So this one part is coming kind of from one side of the paper, and this is from the bottom side. Yeah? So it's also a bit, it kind of gives a bit more feeling of that it's wider. Yeah. And yeah, we can plan the bench. Bench is nicely also kind of looking out of the corners. You can even, some part of the bench you can hide inside. And of course, we don't forget about the shadows. Yeah, so we can mark this shadow under the bench. So you can notice also, for example, if you do this this garden trolley and you don't do the shadow under it, yeah, then it feels something, yeah. And once you put just these few lines of shadow, and at once it's kind of sitting nicely at the ground, yeah. Because our brains there get used to see objects with shadows. Yeah, so the same with the roof of the house. Yes, so one important thing is to do this thickness. Yeah. Yeah, so of this brown part. And then as you want, you can also, for example, yeah, just lightly with the pencil, not much, but still be marking this blue shadow. Yes, because it's always under the roof, there is always shadow, because the roof always comes over the walls. So that's kind of, there is no house without shadow. Yeah, and the same story also with windows. So even if you sometimes do the sketch or something drawing from your mind, and still these things are kind of that's coming always. So as window always also comes, there is this part coming over, so we can mark. Yeah, there are these two windows. Yeah, one can look in the original, yeah, if they look a bit like open. Yeah, so there is dark part kind of in between. Yeah, and it's usually when it's daytime, then the windows are dark. And nighttime, if of course the light is on, then the windows are brightly yellow. Yeah? And we can see, yeah, so just one part of the door, Yeah, so this I sketch only one corner. Yeah, because then later, of course, all these flowers going and yeah, and one can mark just very freely with pencil where this flower later might go. Yeah, and there is also one more window next to the door, and also very lightly, because still all the flowers will be on top, but still it's nice when it's the viewer can kind of guess there is also. And then we have all the space for flowers. And of course, yeah, very nice, this detail of the boat. Yeah, so we will also try to keep this part of water clean. Yeah, so horizon somewhere up near the roof. And then there is something like a little island or rocks. And something like a maybe tree or on the rocks, and here in between we have this boat. Yeah, so the boat, for example, of course, we can do with those pencils, maybe. And this big part of flowers, what we can do, we can plan a little bit. With some, on the left side here, some stones. Yeah, here like just some two like vertical. And then also when we will paint, so notice that this bottom of the flowers, it's more dark. Yeah, like also like the shadow, and like usually this under part of flowers, yeah, there's some dark green and maybe with also some dark blue. So maybe we can kind of mark so this kind of vertical part, and then comes all this big horizontal part, and we will try to make it with only clean colors, so clean yellow, clean pink, clean orange, and then it looks brightly, so without adding much shadows, maybe in between a little bit. Yeah, and as you wish. If it's easier for you, you can mark maybe now some maybe spots, yeah, or just leave it kind of one big empty, and later we see it freely. Yeah. Yeah, here on top also some flowers. So we divided our, because flowers is huge, one can get a bit like overwhelmed. Yeah, so we divided in this big part, this horizontal with bright colors, this vertical part with shadows and darker, and here this part on top, already closer to the house. Yeah. Something. Yeah. One can then also see maybe some details, maybe mark these shadows on chimneys. And yeah, and stones also kind of just very freely with some ovals, yeah, one bigger, one smaller. And of course, going towards end of path, they're smaller, yeah, closer to us, they're bigger. Show us how it looks.
Trying to calm down now. Are you both okay? Are you both doing okay? All right.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Is it good to be home then, Evie?
Yeah, it's very nice to be at home. Yeah. Enjoying a lot. Yeah.
How did you get on with your art class with the palette knife?
It was moved for this weekend.
Okay.
So yesterday was the start. It was some basics. They use a lot of painting with oils, but today they will do a workshop on oils, and they will be explaining also differences when you use it with acrylics. Yeah, right. So be ready. I'll be reporting.
Good.
Yes.
Interesting to hear.
Yeah, but actually, yeah. Also yesterday I learned lots of new tips using palette knife, and you know, also the movement. Kind of sometimes you do this number 8 like this, yeah. And also for people, for example, who even prefer brush, but sometimes you want to make really nice gradient. Yeah, let's say for the sky you have blue, and then you have purple, and then you go into pink and to orange. Yeah, let's say like sunset. Then it's very nice technique. And then with the palette knife, you kind of manage to do really good blending.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. So, but of course, that's the point in oils, because they don't get dry.
No.
Then you have this time.
Yeah.
Let's see, with acrylics, you really have to work quickly and just kind of without correcting later.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Correct, and oils do. So
yeah, I must admit I'm banned from using them in this house because they smell and everything. So that's for when we're outside, maybe.
Something, yes, but of course you also have to use this oil, and then to clean the stuff. Of course, oils is a headache. But
yeah, I mean, there is now water-based stuff that you can get. It's not as effective, but yeah, it stinks. So that's something I have to leave to when we're outside somewhere. Sounds good though.
Yeah. So today I think gonna paint the pomegranate. Yeah, so with palette knife. So
yeah, it'd be good.
Nice.
But Darren, I've started my own art, as Evie will know, my new art Instagram account this week, and because I've been on holiday.
Yeah.
So I've been throwing my artwork on there, and yeah, it's been really good. And I've actually sold a piece of artwork.
Oh wow, that's brilliant.
It's just this random man contacted. He said, I really love the one with bees.
Yeah.
Funny enough. And the and he said, I don't want anyone else to have it. Can I have it, please? Can I buy it? So I've sent it this morning. So it's paid for my I bought myself a bit of a watercolor set, and it's paid for it. So that's great. That's what we talked about, isn't it? It's paid your materials.
Yeah.
So
brilliant.
Yeah, really pleased.
Congrats, Jules. That's a good one.
Yeah. So it's quite exciting.
Nice.
You just don't know.
You're ready with the sketch?
Yeah.
Yep, I think I'm ready. Yep.
I'm going to get some water. Won't be a sec.
Yeah. So sorry, I interrupted, Darren. Was it something you were saying? No.
No.
No. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you use only Facebook, don't you?
I have got an Instagram account, but I don't tend to use it like that, to be honest. So Facebook tends to be my go-to social media page.
Sure. Yeah, it's also time consuming, of course.
Mm.
Yeah, I must admit, I took these pens away with me. I've been off for 2 weeks, and we went up towards Bath, and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to use these, and I tried to do it on a big picture with lots going on, but this is obviously much more detail.
No.
It doesn't work. Something like this, where you've got lots of little detail, I think will work better. I was like, oh my God, it's a right mess.
Yeah, for landscapes, then of course it's probably, yeah, it's more like illustrations, if you like, for the book or.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm intrigued about this today.
Yeah. All right, putting light blue. Yeah, so our favorite acrylics. Yeah, and then it actually so can be one blue color, and then you just divide it with a bit white and use it for the sky. And then originally what's I can do for the sea. Yeah, so we're starting with sky, with the sea, then we go for the grass, so all these big parts, and then slowly going into the details. Of course, if you want maybe color you like for the sea, yeah, so not necessarily this blue from sky, but and here again for the sky I use kind of a bit more water. So even then, if it's leaving some brush strokes, it's kind of okay. It might look as some clouds. Yeah. Yeah, so probably very. Yeah, sometimes also using a sponge. Yeah, it's also something like you can move and it can kind of, if you don't like brush strokes from that are left, the sponge can also do quickly a good job of creating the surface. Yeah. Yes, but of course it's good to have this bigger difference as in the tones. So sky much lighter. So even if you got too dark, you can wait and then just later go on top with a little bit of white. And then yes, and then already with less water, so almost. Then I put it more intense. Yeah. When you do paintings, the sky is always lighter. Yes, because just in general, because of the water of its, let's say, what it consists of. Yeah, its texture is always more. Yeah, so when you paint, for example, also sunset, and you have the colors in the sky, and then the same colors you see as a reflection in the water. Still, yeah, the ones in the water, they will be darker. Yeah, so here we remember to save for our boat. Yeah, so where the people I go over, but I leave just where the boat is itself. Yeah, because people with the black, they will go. And so then we will move for green. I have here lots of blue that I left accidentally. So instead of using green, I'll just mix it with some yellow. Yeah. Here I get. Yeah, and now again, so now we just kind of course, saving our trolley, saving the bench, but yeah, just covering big space of yeah, saving the path. The path will be something gray. Yes, and again, no big worries about the brush strokes. Then later when it's dry, one can go again on top, correcting something. Yeah, because sometimes it's impossible to get it from the first time. And I go over even the part where are the shadows. Yeah, so then I just remember to put them on top of the green later. And where the bench is, then I can do, yeah, very lightly, maybe even with a bit more water. So this middle part where we want kind of like the bench is not transparent, but it has holes. So the green part is, one can see through. And one can go also on the other side of the stones, of the path, and be careful with stones. You have to keep them white. Yeah, there is something a bit unclear there where the boat is, and the fence. Then on top, it's, I don't know, it's maybe something like a tree or also other rocks, but one can just maybe put some, you know, kind of base color and something maybe greenish, bluish, and later we. Because as usually it's kind of first is the aim to get rid of the white spots, and you know, where one can. And then The next, I will take a little bit of brown. Yeah, I will use it for, and of course for the roof. And one can try mixing brown with blue. Also, if you have it kind of as leftovers on the palette, and let's see if one can get this gray color for the upper part of the roof. Yeah, so this border of the roof, I will make just with a dry brush. Yeah, just sitting. We can do maybe the line that is outside can be a bit more straight, and the one that is going towards the roof can be a bit more fluffy. Yeah, so there is this, because in one thing it's ending. It's also kind of one of the classic rules. So sometimes when you draw with pencil, that's very important is the type of line that you're using. It can be either fluffy line, or it can be very, very, strict when you kind of make it very hard. And it's important when you do the shadows, because the shadows are different. Yes, and then it's also when you paint something and there is object and there is not object, so like here in the roof, it's ending and then it's kind of the air, say, behind it. Then you can always make this line, more strict, more precise, because it gives the feeling of the object is ended. And now try to mix with blue. Yeah, so brown and blue usually gives you gray, and of course it depends what kind of blue you use. Of course, here I have this sky blue, very light. Yes, then my gray should be. Yeah, and it's very nice. It's a very nice gray color you get, and one can use it a lot. Yeah, in different, anywhere when you do this kind of light roll. Sometimes one uses, because in general people also try avoiding painting on white paper, and so sometimes one kind of you can pre-color your canvas, and then this mix is nice. So maybe with the same gray I can mark a little bit the shadows on the chimneys, although later maybe one wants to go back and correct them, make them a bit darker with the dark blue, make a bit more accent. Yeah, and I also advise not to use black today. So for all these dark spots where you want to show shadow, just use dark blue. So, Maybe even this, the paint's grayish, maybe can be even too dark. Yeah, because then it's, the image keeps being bright and yeah, I'll try to see what, because it's also with blue, if you use it kind of, yeah, no water and thick paint, then looks very dark. Yeah, so the phthalo blue works perfect for this task. Yeah, the ultramarine blue. And in general, this paint is more transparent. Yeah, from its pigmentation point of view. Yeah, because in general, there are always some paints. So, for example, this light blue that is like sky celestial blue, it has the white paint inside. Yeah, that's why it's usually not transparent. It covers well. Yeah, but ultramarine is the one that. Yeah, so I get a little dot of phthalo blue, and then I can use it for the shadows on the house, and then later maybe here the shadows on the rocks. Yeah, so anywhere, and at the same time I can lighten up it with water, make it lighter. And of course you can also mix it, let's say, with brown if it feels maybe a bit too light. Yeah, but phthalo of course is strong. But of course one can see, for example, here I can put the blue, and if it looks a bit too, yeah, of course it looks a bit too light, then I can gray. Yeah, probably my Payne's gray still would be better. And of course, feel free to choose when you want to do the pen brushes. Yeah, so, like chimneys, maybe. Yeah, and when putting these shadows, also kind of blend it out with water in case they're making a strong line. Yeah? Yes, and so we remember how we worked last time with this water brushes. Then I just sip some amount of paint, and then I blend it out. Yeah, so even something like the funny lines like this. And then if I go quickly, then they're just getting bland. So it's a bit similar. It's kind of you see some amount of paint and then just but actually it looks nice. You get this effect of the bricks almost instantly because it's gives you some part more transparent, some part more nice. So even maybe the shadows could be done with brushes even better. Yes, for example, for the window, I can use the yellow marker, and I can even save some paint, because so little you need. I mean, of course, we will use yellow more, but also from this point of view, one can say, I can use paints, then I don't have to squeeze paint, and because we usually always have the paint left over. It looks nice. One part of the window is yellow, one green. One can also mix between green and yellow, kind of to unite. So let's say just more the story of the shadow. And then I leave it dry, this frame of window, and then I get in to do these details. Otherwise it will go all blurry. Yes, maybe where the trees are, I can maybe a few lines imitating the brick. It's also kind of a bit a style of the way you choose to do this. One can do these contours. So let's say like now I did with the chimney, so I just went around with the light. With the brown, and just a bit, maybe it feels different style of painting, something like maybe comics or like illustration as well. But sometimes one can use it like that. Yes, here I went with the brush pens on top of the shadows because I don't know, I felt I need to maybe try to make it a bit more live or interesting. So we have this island there. Very neutral. Just see some brown. You can see some, let's say, dark blue, and can be both. Just I did maybe this. I filled it with the acrylics. Let it dry, and then I can go with these brush pens to do just some feeling of the stones. So, and the boat as well. So the boat also just very kind of sketchy, just thin lines, and the lines also can be irregular, you know. And just with this brush, with the pen, I go around, and also what I do, I mark the shadow of the boat. Yeah. So the same story as with all shadows, kind of when you know the places where the shadow is coming always, you know, like under the roof or something, and then just like we can't avoid it, we can't skip it. Yeah, and then here where the rocks are on the bottom, I do the brush pen just a bit darker. Yes, because it's the bottom that it's usually always darker. Yeah, if it gets too dark, and add water to lighten up. Yeah, so it's also a little bit of jumping around the painting. Yes, leaving to dry some parts, and yeah, so here I get back to the window and do the there is net in this window. Yeah, so I did this dark part inside the window, and then one gets this feeling of, yeah, that it's open. Yeah, I feel those brush paints a bit addicting because it's so easy with them, and it's like markers, so one doesn't want to go back. So I did the corner of the door. Yeah, also just I mixed here brown, blue, a little bit of green. Yes, and then of course this part, right, to make it a bit darker. Yes, I think. Yeah, and since it's our water brushes can also maybe fade it out a bit, so it's not ending so with one line, because then later on top with flowers, then I have this. Yeah. So I would suggest continue maybe with the garden, do the fence, yeah, this entrance gate, do this trolley, the bench, the path, the ropes, and then we'll leave all the flowers till the end. Yeah, so maybe I'll continue with brush paints for all the details. Yes, or maybe this gray path and the acrylics. Yeah, and then we decide how flowers. Yeah, we'll go. And also feel free, for example, the trolleys, it's blue. One can choose, maybe you want it orange, yeah, or another color. I'll try. I'll do it. See if it's. The thing that we remember to do the shadows. Yeah, the trolley has also, so it has this wheel, and on the other side, it's just this metal thing where it's standing, and it has kind of two parts. And one can be then a bit more thick, and the other is just thinner line. Yeah, and this will also show that one is closer to us. And the entrance gate, you can see it's actually more of painting these emptinesses. Yeah, and then let's say, so I can do like this, and then later I can go over and do it, you know, color, not to keep it white, yeah, but still keeping it lighter. Please, and then, yeah, I'll let it dry, and then I can do some touches. But it's more like with the creating a feeling. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, so there is this unclear rocks or tree or something. So yeah, I had the green acrylics, and now I just leave some maybe blue spots. Now let's make it. And again, yeah, and not forget the shadow of. Yeah, and one can leave it either very strict or do a little bit also a bit blending. Still the shadow, it goes a little bit out. So it has intense part and then spreading out. And then for the bench, one can mix brown and blue. So I take both brushes And I can make, for example, one horizontal brown line on top, one horizontal line here at the bottom. Yeah, so kind of plain, meaning that, let's say the bench is brown in itself. So here. And yeah, but we have shadows, so yeah, and again, so I'm sitting kind of, I've put these lines, looks very, yeah, very weird, but once we take our water brush and kind of spray it out. And then, so the bench also, so one can, so thinking to leave emptiness, so the green is seen, yes, but then, of course, we will a bit also blend out, yeah, to have two colors, to have not just these blue lines that are very, yeah, then I will kind of have the feeling that there is also side a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, now, for example, you can compare, yeah, the two drawings, so the one I'm painting now and the one I've painted before. So with and without the shadow of the bench, yeah. And again, once I edit, and then at one it looks better. So the rocks, for example, yes, can go, so going just around, yes, not necessarily all the, not making kind of complete ovals, but separate lines, yeah, and somewhere I can make maybe a bit more bigger line, yeah, like a shadow, and then I will go with the water pen, yeah, spread a bit out. Yeah, it's also important. I kind of clean, yeah, very often this water pen. It's the same. Once you feel it gets dirty, yeah, you just clean it, and then you can use it as wiping out. Yeah, so cleaning. Then can use some gray. maybe both acrylics or. So I did gray the path, and I have, you know, some leftovers on the brush. And I went a little bit here on top, so kind of a bit dividing. So where these vertical flowers will start, and then I keep maybe here a bit clean. This part of the grass that is behind the rocks. Also, there also will be maybe some shadow, but just kind of. And also maybe a bit more gray where the rocks are, so also the shadow of rocks itself on the path. And then there is some vertical rock here on the side. And also, if there are some unclear parts, then one can just do maybe some gray spot. Yeah, because of course you can't leave the white paper, but one can also.
And to it, a total disaster. So I'm going to do it. I'm doing my own style. I was trying to go really traditional, and it's just turned into a, wow, disaster zone. So I'm going to do it my own way. It's all really good experiment. All I'm saying is I'm not showing you it at the moment. It's a disaster.
Well, we heard you before, so and then you end up sending us an awesome picture.
But oh, it's just.
So
I think I'm going the Monet way instead. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so just to let you
oh,
know.
what a surprise!
Oh. Yeah, I was trying to do with the pens,
Yeah.
but then it looked too brutal. It was just too, even though I was trying to blend them, I think it's because with the acrylic, I've gone with the acrylic too much. And it's made it really difficult to do anything else with them. So I thought, right, I'm going to cover it up with some acrylic. So watch this space.
But it's, of course, very good to study each material, because then, like, even this is a good example of our picture we do, then you choose, you say, okay, chimneys, it will be quickly and easily to do with this, and the grass quickly and easy to do this, and so one can, yeah, because I think that's the trick, when you know what's coming out when you put it, because when you learn, when you experiment, it depends, it works out as it works out.
Yeah, I think like with the bird, with the kingfisher,
Yeah.
I think what really makes that work is because there's loads of detail in it, and then the background's blurred.
Yes.
And I think that's what I'm struggling here. I'm trying to make it all detailed, and I think it just looks too much. Sorry. Who cares? I'm changing it. How are you getting on, Darren? You all right then?
Yeah, there's a couple of bits I'm not overly happy about. I need to do something to the chimneys, I think, in a minute, but yeah, I think it's going to be okay come the end. I think there's a few bits I can just sort of rescue a bit later on, so we'll see how it goes.
Do you use purely the brush pens?
No, I've used a bit of acrylic and some of the brush pens.
Okay.
I'm using the brush pens at the moment. My mistake was because I thought we were initially going to do things just purely with brush pens. I've used the watercolor paper, so for the acrylics initially, sort of thing. I'm not quite sure if it's a strong enough paper, but we'll see how it comes out in a short while.
Because I think like watercolor paper in its texture should be good for the brush pens.
For brush pens, it's fine, but with the acrylics, I'm not quite sure about. So, but I don't think it's going to be too bad actually. So we'll see how it comes out in a short while.
All right. Yeah. I feel that in general, as more I paint, the more I feel I want to paint only on these thick papers. Yeah. So I have both. I have, for example, so 200, and then I have 300, and so every time I take this 300-gram paper, everything works better. Both acrylics or brush pens or whatever, and then once I take this less thick paper, it starts from water. It starts very changing. So. And actually, this thicker paper allows me easily to paint from both sides. So in the end, you know, you pay more, but if it's like for practicing, and you know, drawing is not going somewhere, then you can paint from both sides. Let me know once you're ready to go for the flowers. Yeah, but yeah, no rush.
I'm going to go for them already.
All right, yeah. So then it's reminder again, just kind of keeping it very clean, the colors. And then later, maybe in between, when one wants, can do some darker lines, you know, just to show there a bit of shadow. And then I would suggest then also starting, let's say, with yellow. Then one can put just lots of yellow bright spots. As we all remember, we can cover yellow easily. So yeah, here also. And then I would go with orange, then with pink. And then, so if you're going with brush pens, yeah, then I can just sit these lines, these spots. And then can use the water brush, but also maybe not everywhere. Yeah, so not to have it because of course it also takes off the paint and then it becomes less bright. So maybe just somewhere where the borders feel a bit too. Yeah, so this may be only on the border, inside. The inside part will stay more bright. Yeah, also can be nice mixing in between, bit yellow and this orange. And then I'll go with some pink as well. Yes, so don't worry if it looks like just too, yeah, this spot's too bright. We will save this green a little bit in between. And also you can, yeah, if you use the brush pen, see even kind of dots pretending with some flowers, yes, it's working. Yes, not just spot, but a little bit of texture. And then taking green. And green can start, for example, at the bottom. See how the green looks. Yeah, if it's not too dark, one can go also there and this and soften in between. But here we also kind of make it clear, here a bit vertical, the side of flowers, yeah, and then this a bit horizontal, the colorful part, and all. And again, can spread a bit with the water. Yeah, it will take some color out, make it less, but then when it's dry, I will repeat with some brown or blue on top, yeah, to make it a bit more dark accents. This shadow part. Yeah, there is a bit of some purplish blue in the middle. Also a little bit maybe to make a bit difference, and there is a bit more purplish also on the house itself. And this upper part of the house, then I will go with the light green first. Yes, making different lines. Then I can go on top of it with a little bit of darker green, and then see purple flowers on top. Yeah? And then, yeah, did all these lines. Now we'll blur a little bit. Yeah, but again, not everything. So some lines will stay, yeah, thick and bright. Is the idea here. Yeah, some parts blurring just also to fill in the some of the spaces in between flowers and the flowers. Yes, so dark parts also important. Dark green, dark blue. Yes, we need, as usually, this game of light and shadow. Yes, so also maybe somewhere in between bright flowers. Yeah, so they are not going to. And then also this connecting part with house, flowers, and the entrance, yeah, just like some of yeah, as I said, I will add a little bit of blue dark blue where this bottom of the flowers are. So a bit kind of, yeah. So again, just adding lines, and later then of course I will blend with water out. And again, some parts will blend more out, some parts less. Now my fence looks like there is a hole. Maybe. I'll put a bit more fence. Yes, I'm sure already. Yeah, and then again, as it always comes the question of how detailed you want to do the drawing, how much time you have, what's your the drawing aim. And then of course one can spend more time going back to details, going back to chimney details, or flowers. Yeah, and this little bit purplish flower spots I find nice on the house. Make it a bit more green on the bottom. Yeah, so feel free, ask and send me if you have some problems with any part.
I've just sent you mine through a second to see what you think.
Yeah. See. Ah, nice, Darren. Very, very cheerful. What do you? How you feel yourself? Which parts you're maybe not happy with?
I'm not quite happy about the yachts. The chimneys I'm not quite sure about. But I think I've managed to rescue them because just now they weren't looking great, but I've managed to pull them back a bit, I think. The bench, I'm sort of happy with, but maybe could have done something a bit different with that, perhaps.
Yeah, with the bench, if you add just one line, a bit like a bit thicker here on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will feel that there is this sitting part. Yeah, because now it feels maybe it's only the back part. But what I mean, even this kind of inside. So yeah, so this space between the grass you leave clean as it is, but I would add just this hairline here. Yeah, so like here. Yeah, and then just get color here, this in between. And this will make it a bit, so with this lower part a bit thicker. And I think it might have to, have this feeling. No. Let me see. Yeah, with the chimneys, but also make it work when this shadow is a bit maybe intense, darker. Yeah, but because this red part I find is nice. I mean, even if you're still unhappy, you can try maybe just adding a bit darker. So just even with the blue pattern, just few blue strokes, like also this falling shadow. Let's say. So because then it's with this bigger contrast, it might
I think overall I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah, it looks very, it's happy.
What I've done for the actual white of the actual house itself, I've just used a bit of white acrylic, but just sort of dabbed it, sort of thing, rather than sort of paint the whole entire wall. Just sort of
actually nice. It feels the texture on the wall. Yeah, you use this light. Yeah, because I have I just left the white paper, and of course it looks. Yeah, your one looks nice because it's as if a real wall texture. Nice, good job. So it was both acrylics and the brush pens, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, I think I've done that, so I'm not going to touch anything else. I think I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about the grass area. Do I need to do anything to the grass area sort, or is it okay?
The grass area. Also, maybe I haven't mentioned what sometimes works very nicely if you add a little bit darker line here, on the border with the on the border with the gray, because this is where usually this kind of one feels the thickness of grass itself, that it's a bit higher, and usually there is kind of a bit. So if you want, you can play it with a bit more darker kind of line shadow on the border with the path, and then it might make feel, so just kind of colored part, but then also a bit more accent on the path itself, so here you see this is actually good point,
Not ignore anyone. I'll have a look. Sorry, I was like, yeah. Oh my god, I don't know what I've done. Don't ask.
Jules, I won't believe you till I see the picture, because that's.
I love yours, Darren. It's lovely.
Wow,
really lovely.
Creative and.
Yeah, it's, as Evie said, it is just that happy. That feeling of summer, isn't it? Warmth. Oh, God, that's what we need.
Yeah, this is really happy painting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of what can go bad in this?
Right. Okay.
In this garden. Sorry.
Let me take off the
noise.
I'm not doing any more of this because it's stressing me out now. Sorry. But But it's been fun. I must admit, I'm really learning a lot from these pens. What you can't do and what you can. I don't know what you think, Dan. It's trial and error, isn't it? Really,
Very much trial and error. What I found today was quite. He was just sort of using it just to sort of not so much draw, but just sort of dab little areas, like with the flowers, for instance, sort of thing, just to give that suggestion of sort of flower buds, there sort of thing amongst it all.
If I was to do this again, I wouldn't use so much acrylic. First of all, I think I'll just go with the pens and then go with the acrylic.
Ah,
I think that's what's yeah, it's a bit, it's to say it's trial and error. You don't know, do you, until you do it? But I've just gone a bit too mad with acrylic, and I'm like struggling with the pens now.
See, with the acrylics with me today, I actually did a very sort of for the sky. I tried to avoid what I usually do, go too thick with the paint, and I used a lot more water than I usually would do.
Yeah,
so
that's where I've gone wrong.
Acrylic gouache.
I've gone too thick. I'll show you. There you go. I've put some tulips in the front.
of course. Hey. Nice. Like, so you're getting ready for the trip to Holland, or tulips.
I like that.
Yeah, no,
it's very romantic.
It's all right. It's all right, but I realised, like you were saying there, Darren, is that you need to go really thin with the acrylic paint, and I went thick, and then I struggled then with anything I was doing. It wasn't going to take, was it? Because the pen is like, oh, it's really faint over the top. So if I was going to do that again, then I would go, I think, draw it out, as you say, go really thin with the acrylic paint, let it dry as if it was like watercolor, then go in with the pen.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just trial and error, isn't it?
But like I was saying to Evie earlier on, it's been a year since me and Mel have been doing these classes now, and I've got a footer of all my old work, and I was looking at it the other day with Mel, and certainly looking at some of the earlier ones.
Yeah.
I can tell I went too thick with the acrylics, which is why today I made a conscious effort, certainly with the sky, to try and go with more of a wash effect, because it'd be interesting to go back over some of the earlier ones again.
Yeah, no, I must admit, like with that,
sort of
looking at that kingfisher, I must admit, looking at that kingfisher where we drew it out, didn't we? And we used the pen, Evie, and then we keep using water, and then like with Darren and I, didn't we? We went with the with bit crafty and used a bit of acrylic paint there. I think that works better for me. But as I say, it's just trying it. You don't know, do you, until you try it.
It's also depends what you paint. Yeah. Then you have to decide if you go with this or this. And
I must admit, I would like to do it. I would like to use the pens again, because like with this, I'll show you something that I did last year. This is for my friends out in New York. I would like to do that with the pens, but just purely in pens. Yeah, so you got the so I've done the tulips there.
Yeah.
It's like draw out the pencil.
Yes.
And then use a bit of it. You use the acrylic pen and use the watercolor pens, and then wash it.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think that would work. I think detail, well, for me, detail is where these pens come into their own. It's when I go mad with acrylic paint. I can't stop myself. Give me some acrylic paint and I'll just have to go mad. I can't stop myself. Don't give me any acrylic paint. That's the best way. Hide them. I've really enjoyed it.
But very nice. There was just one little comment. So just a little bit. So this line of the house, So it just, when you see it feels like but it can actually interesting. So it's with these perspective rules. It feels that if I'm sitting on the ground and I look on the house from the bottom, it's like when you if you would draw skyscrapers, the skyscrapers always they meet on top, kind of, with these perspective rules. So it's
no, you can see that, but definitely It needs to be
That's
dark at the bottom anyway.
It gives a really nice, it can be really nice touch, yeah? So instead
Well,
of
because I was going to bin it about an hour ago. I was like, nah, I'm going to do that. Sometimes you need to persevere, just as I say, because that's now a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Mm.
I'll keep hold of it and I'll go back to that and look at it and think, don't do that again. It's too thick. And you know, Darren, you've done it the right way. You've gone in light, and that's what it's about, isn't it? It's knowing your materials. And I just go, just give me some acrylic, and I just go mad. I'm going back. I think I'm going to go back to. I'm going to do a stag. I've decided this afternoon.
Huh?
And I think I'm going back to watercolor.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just fancy doing wildlife again. I think because that kingfish has really inspired me.